Okay, let's talk weeknights. You know, the clock's ticking, everyone's hungry, and honestly, the thought of tackling some recipe that's going to take an hour, maybe more, it just feels overwhelming.
Yeah, it really does. It feels less like cooking and more like a chore sometimes.
Exactly. And apparently, we're not alone. There's this stat something like 78% of home cooks just ditch recipes that take that long.
Wow, 78%. That's huge. It makes sense, though.
Right. So today, we're diving into something that might just be the answer, the chicken crack recipe.
Chicken crack recipe. It's quite a name, isn't it?
It really is.
Our sources, mainly this really detailed recipe article, they make it clear, though it's not about anything, actually
Yeah,
illicit.
no, definitely not.
It's all about how addictive the flavor is. Apparently, it's this combo of savory stuff, crispy texture, bit of sweetness. People just find it irresistible.
Totally. So yeah, our mission today is basically to break this recipe down, figure out why it's so popular, especially for people who need something fast, but still, like, really good.
And the big promise is speed, right? Under 30 minutes, start to finish.
That's the goal, which honestly sounds like a miracle on a Tuesday night. So we've got the whole breakdown, ingredients, instructions, nutrition, even some
Okay,
variations.
let's get into it. What's the main appeal here?
Well, like you said, speed is huge. That sub 30-minute thing, the article points out it's about 40% faster than, say, typical baked chicken.
40%. That's a serious time saver. That really speaks to, wanting efficiency but not wanting cardboard for dinner.
Exactly. But it's not just speed, is it? How does it pack in so much flavor so quickly?
Well, the article talks about the high cooking temperature being key. That intense heat cooks the chicken fast, so it helps seal in the juices.
Ah, so it stays moist inside.
Right. And at the same time, that high heat creates that really crispy crust everyone loves. It's about getting maximum flavor impact in minimum time.
Crispy, juicy, and fast. Okay, I'm listening. Let's dig into the ingredients. What makes that coating so special?
Right, the coating. Looking at the list, you see a few key things. First, panko breadcrumbs. They give it that light, airy crunch.
Okay.
But the recipe mentions you can swap things out, like regular breadcrumbs or even crushed cornflakes if you want a different texture.
Flexible, I like that. What else?
Then there's Parmesan cheese. That brings in a salty, umami, kind of savory depth.
Hmm.
And again, flexible. You could try other hard cheeses, or the article suggests just using more breadcrumbs if you need it dairy-free.
So options right from the start, depending on your pantry. Now, brown sugar. That one seems a bit unusual for chicken coating. What's its job?
Ah, the brown sugar. That seems to be crucial for that addictive quality the name hints at. The article specifically calls out how it helps with caramelization when it bakes.
Caramelization.
Okay, so as it heats up, it creates this slightly sweet but also deeply savory crust. It adds a lot of complexity, actually. It's a neat trick.
Right, that little bit of sweetness balancing the savory stuff. Okay, then the usual suspects. Garlic powder, paprika, maybe smoked paprika for extra oomph.
Yet the article suggests smoked paprika, plus salt, pepper, and a bit of cayenne pepper, which you can adjust, obviously, for heat.
Good point. And eggs to bind it all together.
Exactly. Egg works as the binder. And then there's olive oil or melted butter, which the recipe calls non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable. Why is that so important?
Well, that fat, the oil or butter, is what really gets you that gorgeous golden brown color, and crucially, the crispiness. It helps the coating kind of fry in the oven heat.
Ah, so it doesn't just bake, it crisps.
Precisely. And it adds a touch of richness, too. Oh, and there's an optional add-in, ranch seasoning mix.
Ooh, ranch. That definitely dials up the crave factor for a lot of people. Okay, so it's a smart mix of textures and flavors. Let's walk through actually making it. Any key tips in the steps?
Sure. So first step, preheat the oven, pretty high, 425 Fahrenheit, and prep your baking sheet so nothing sticks. Parchment paper or grease it well.
Standard stuff.
Then you mix up all those dry coating ingredients, the panko, parmesan, sugar, spices in a bowl. The article calls it the magical coating. Kind of fun.
Magical coating. I like it. Now, the recipe really stresses patting the chicken dry before the egg dip. Why is that so vital? Seems like a step you might skip if you're rushing.
That's a great question. And yeah, it seems fussy, but the article highlights it as crucial.
Okay, why?
Because if the chicken surface is wet, it creates steam in that hot oven. And steam is the enemy of crispiness.
Ah, wet chicken, steamy chicken, soggy coating. Got it.
Exactly. Taking that extra 30 seconds to pat it dry makes a huge difference to the final texture.
Makes total sense. So chicken is dry, dipped in egg, then coated. What's next?
Then you lay the coated pieces on that prepared baking sheet. And importantly, don't crowd the pan.
Right, give 'em space.
Yeah, the article mentions needing about an inch between pieces. That lets the hot air circulate all around for even crisping. Otherwise, again, they can kind of steam each other.
Okay, space is key. Then the non-negotiable oil or butter drizzle.
Yep, drizzle or spray it over the top. Then into that hot 425 oven for about 18 to 20 minutes.
And flip.
Good catch. Yes, the recommendation is to flip them about halfway through cooking. That helps get both sides nice and golden brown.
Makes sense.
And the final crucial bit, use a meat thermometer. Don't just eyeball it.
Right.
Needs to hit 165 degrees Celsius internal temperature for safety and to make sure it's cooked through but not dry.
Absolutely. Thermometer is your friend.
Okay, so it's cooked. What about the nutritional side for people tracking that stuff?
Yeah, the article gives a snapshot per serving, about 5 ounces. It's around 320 calories. What's notable is the protein, 28 grams, which is pretty high.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's substantial.
Definitely. Then about 12 grams of carbs, 18 grams of fat, only 1 gram of fiber, and around 520 milligrams of sodium. So high protein, moderate carbs compared to some breaded stuff. That protein helps with feeling full, too.
Good point. But what if you want to, say, tweak it to be a bit healthier or fit a specific diet? The article mentioned swaps, right?
It did, yeah. For more fiber, you could use whole wheat breadcrumbs or even almond flour instead of panko.
Instead of brown sugar, maybe a little honey or maple syrup, though that changes the flavor profile a bit.
Sure.
And the big one for health-conscious folks is the air fryer method.
Ah, yes. Tell me about that.
The article suggests 375 degrees air fry in the air fryer for maybe 12 to 15 minutes. The big win there is you use way less oil, like 70% less, it says.
70% less oil. That's a massive difference if you're watching fat intake. Still crispy.
Apparently, yes. Air fryers are great for that. And it also covers gluten-free options.
Oh, good. What does it suggest?
Using crushed rice cereal, like Rice Chex was the example, or just certified gluten-free panko. So it's definitely adaptable.
That adaptability is great. Makes it useful for more people. Okay, so chicken's cooked, maybe air fried, maybe oven baked. How do we serve this masterpiece? Any fun ideas?
Yeah, quite a few. For low carb, serve it over zucchini noodles or cauliflower rice.
Nice.
For a family meal, maybe make bowls with steamed rice and some stir-fried veggies.
Classic combo.
Then it gets interesting sliders, mini buns, some coleslaw, and maybe a drizzle of hot honey.
Ooh, sliders with hot honey? That sounds amazing.
Doesn't it? And for a lighter meal, just slice it up and put it on top of a salad with a light vinaigrette. Pretty versatile.
Definitely. Okay, even simple recipes can go wrong. Did the article mention common mistakes to avoid?
It did, and it basically reinforces some key techniques we already touched on. Like skipping the drying step again leads to soggy chicken. Overcrowding the pan, same issue, causes steaming.
Right. The space is important.
And using chicken straight from the fridge, ice cold. Letting it sit out for maybe 10 minutes helps it cook more evenly.
Good tip. Less temperature shock.
Exactly. And the last one, again, is relying on just looking at it instead of using that thermometer to check for 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Looks can be deceiving.
So true. Safety first and better texture, too. What about leftovers or making it ahead? Busy people need those tricks.
Absolutely. So leftovers are fine in an airtight container in the fridge for up to 3 days.
And reheating. Microwave is usually bad for crispy stuff.
Yeah, the article advises against the microwave. Best way is back in the oven, maybe 350 degrees AF for about 10 minutes, just to warm through and recrisp.
Okay, oven reheat. Got it. Can you prep it ahead?
Yes. 2 ways, really. You can make the dry coating mix ahead of time and just store it in an airtight container for up to 2 weeks.
Oh, handy.
Or you can actually cook the chicken pieces uncooked and freeze them for up to a month. Just bake from frozen, adding maybe 5 to 7 extra minutes.
Freeze the coated chicken. That's a game changer for meal prep. Okay. Great tips. The article also had a quick FAQ section, right? Any key questions we missed?
Let's see. Air fryer. Yes, definitely works. 375 degrees air, 12-15 minutes, less oil. Make add. Yep, store the coating or refrigerate coated chicken up to 8 hours before baking.
8 hours refrigerated. Also useful.
Why the name crack chicken? We covered that addictive flavor. Can you use chicken tenders? Yes, totally fine. Just cook for less time.
It makes sense. They're smaller.
And is it kid-friendly? Generally, yes, but maybe hold back on the cayenne pepper or omit it depending on the kids.
Right, adjust the spice. Okay, great rundown. So wrapping up our deep dive on this chicken crack recipe, what's the big takeaway here?
I think the main thing is it really seems to nail that balance of being genuinely fast and genuinely delicious. It's a practical, adaptable answer for busy nights or even like a casual get-together.
Yeah.
And the tips and variations show it's pretty forgiving and customizable. It kind of proves that quick meals don't have to be boring or bland.
Definitely sounds like a winner for the weeknight rotation. It gets you thinking, though.
Hmm. About what?
Well, this whole deep dive on making something flavorful fast, it makes you wonder what other dishes that seem complex or time-consuming could actually be simplified for everyday cooking, you know?
That's a really interesting thought. Or maybe flipping it around, how can understanding the why behind techniques here, like why drying the chicken matters for crispiness or how sugar helps browning, how can that knowledge make you a better cook with other recipes you try?
Yeah, applying those principles elsewhere. Some good food for thought there. Well, thanks for exploring the surprisingly compelling world of chicken crack with me today.
My pleasure.
And for everyone listening, I hope you picked up some useful tips and maybe some inspiration for your next kitchen adventure.